And good evening, good afternoon, good morning for whoever is watching and whoever's tuned in at whatever time zone. We're back with another What Now? And I'm actually set up here behind me because today I have a special guest who is Mike Thompson, who is a visual artist and illustrator. And he's the one that did that painting from De La Soul. And a lot of people have been commenting on it, so I figured we can get another creative person in this chat. Hey, Eileen, what's up? So yeah, I had to match the talk. So I got my Mandalorian shirt on, I got my geeky stuff going on, and so I'm waiting for Mike to get in here. He's new to this whole kind of IG live thing, so let's hope he can find it. Thanks everyone. I hope everyone is being safe and everybody's being healthy. I hope all your loved ones and your families are still okay. It's getting worse and worse. Now everyone knows somebody or knows somebody who is affected by this virus. So I think we're not even at our worst peak yet. But hopefully everyone is staying busy or meditating or doing whatever they need to do to get through this lockdown and this self-isolation and quarantine. The talks so far have been pretty inspiring. If you haven't seen the one from yesterday with Keon Harold, I definitely recommend watching that one. It was very, very inspiring and motivating. And I am still waiting on Mike to get in here. Let me see, can you find it? Let me send him a message. Yeah, so a lot of people have been commenting on the painting from De La Soul, which is made by my friend Mike, who has worked for Nike, Marvel, Warner Brothers. And so I was like, let's get him in here. He's looking, he says, hold on. So he's new to this, so please excuse him for not knowing where to go. He says he's on now, but I still don't see him coming in here. Yeah, he says he's on. This is going to be funny. Ray, what's up? Thank you for joining again. I'm still waiting on you to shoot me some dates. I would love to have you as a guest on this live talk as well. For those who don't know, Ray Angry, who just tuned in, is also a very talented musician who has worked with everybody in the book. So I definitely want to know what his thoughts are. Mike is not good at this. Hold on. So this is his first time going on IG Live, and he was on the computer. So I had to instruct him that you can't do it from the computer. You have to do it on your phone. Yeah, so sorry people. It's going to be worth it because, again, I've had pretty much musicians and people in the music industry. I've had a comedian, and so now it's going to be interesting to talk to an illustrator who's worked with a lot of people and a lot of really cool companies, like I said, Marvel and stuff. Oh, there he goes. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, you're on, I see. I'll send you a request. Action, Mike, so yay, you've made it.
Hey, sorry, I'm not an Instagram player here.
I know. I was telling everyone already they were waiting for you to come in, so I kind of did the introduction.
Cool.
I was telling people who you are and that you're really not that familiar with Instagram or Instagram Live, so we were patiently waiting for you to get on here. I was telling them I already had my little setup here, my geeky setup,
Nice.
and that you are the one that actually painted that De La Soul painting, because a lot of people have been commenting on it during my live talks because that's been in the background. I actually set up these other things which weren't made by Mike, but could have easily been. And I got my Mandalorian shirt on for you. So
Nice,
yeah.
nice.
So
Yeah. Well, you see, I got my geek stuff going on too. Got a little Optimus Prime here, uh, my sculpt, and some stuff over here that I got going
nice.
on. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we can talk
So
about it.
we're, Mike and I have to tell people he's also actually designed my logo years ago. We became friends also, bonding over this geeky stuff, the same that I've had with Steve Richards, who I had my first talk with, who's also a geek for all kinds of toys and nerd stuff. So yeah, so we had to do this setup. Mike, you from the day I've met you, I don't think I've ever met anybody as talented as you are,
Thank you.
creatively, visually, in your field. Because I don't know anybody else. Maybe one other person that does sort of what you do. But can you?
So I'm the best of the one people that you know.
Well, I mean, I know a lot of people, so I'm just
Thank
saying,
you.
I don't come across people that do your work because I'm not in that line of work or that business. So I always
Yeah.
find it fascinating to see what you do. And, I've known you for quite some years, and to see you actually do more and more dope stuff is so amazing. Can you tell some of the people, in short, what you have done that they may know of?
Sure. So I do illustrations that are used in movie posters, toy packaging for Hasbro and Mattel. I did a lot of G.I. Joe stuff for Rise of Cobra. I'm working on the new G.I. Joe stuff. What else? I have done video game covers, some NFL Street and NFL 2K back in the day. And now I'm into digital sculpting. So I just did a print for Sideshow. Started working with Sideshow collectibles, and that was always like the big thing for me. Like I've always been an illustrator, but I started getting into sculpting, digital sculpting, and I always wanted to work with these guys because they're amazing. So just did a thing for ODB, a print that's going to be available. It's actually up on their site right now.
Wow. Yeah.
You can pre-order. Yeah, and working on a statue for them as well.
That's really dope. Didn't you do the Def Jam stuff as well? The
Yeah.
the coffee table book, whatever it
Yes.
was. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
for the 20th anniversary of Def Jam.
right. So people who are tuned in that are hip hop fans, aside from geeky fans, you may have seen his work somewhere at some point.
Yeah.
So you've always worked from home, really. So for you, this whole lockdown is not really anything new.
No, this is kind of how I do it. The only thing that's different for me, and I was talking to a friend about this the other day, is I've always been able to like go out and get stuff. You know what I
Right.
mean? And even over the years, I've been cutting down on that and doing more Amazon deliveries and things like that. But yeah, I've been full-time freelance since 2004. I used to work with a company called Echo Unlimited.
Yeah.
We did like I was the head of their T-shirt department, and then I started doing advertisements for them, where I paint people like Mos Def and Method Man and guys like that. And that led to a Coca Cola commercial that I was in with the Roots and Angie Stone and Music Soul Child. And then when I did that, I was like, yeah, I don't want to. I want to work for myself, so I
Right.
started, working with clients on my own. Yeah,
And you've been able to do that for all that time, actually.
yeah, 16
Um,
years. Yeah.
it has its ups and downs, as anybody that works for themselves, but
Hmm.
it's a pretty big business.
Yeah.
So for you, aside from it not really, changing the way you work because you've already worked from home, what has been the biggest impact of this world crisis, this pandemic for you work-wise? Did it cut into some of your income? Did it cut into your
Yeah.
creativity? What
Yeah.
was the
Not so
biggest
much.
impact?
Sure. So not so much creativity, but like income. Yes, I had a couple of big projects lined up that fell by the wayside. I was actually going to do something for Warner Brothers that they changed course
Right.
when everybody was working at home. The right before they started putting the mandatory stay-at-home thing in place, I was supposed to fly out to California. I was going to go for, I'm on the East Coast, so I was going to fly out there for this signing for the ODB prints
Right.
and go to the YouTube building and do like interviews and stuff like that. So that was a big kind of a blow to promotion,
Yeah.
because I was looking forward to that. And also I was going to get to, go meet a lot of people that I've only worked with on the telephone. So,
Right. And that would be
but
great to see people in person and,
yeah,
kind of solidify those relationships and who knows for
yeah,
future
it's just on
projects.
hold, but yeah, the whole uncertainty of it is the thing, but that's
Yeah.
for everybody. So
Yeah. It is
it's
for
weird that we're all
everybody.
going through it. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been talking to mainly music artists. And so
Hmm.
we've kind of covered that scope, even though everybody is looking at it different and coping with it different. So
Yeah.
for you in your field, especially working with film studios or things related to film is shut
Yeah.
down now too. People can't
Yeah.
do productions anymore. They can't do they can't film anymore. So that must have
Right.
had an impact on you. Is that what made Warner Brothers change course because they had to quit filming, or was it a whole different type of situation?
Yeah, they didn't get into it too deep, but I think that that's it. Since then, I worked on a couple of posters for things that might be coming out. I mean, they're going to come out at some point. Who knows when now?
You can't talk about it yet,
Um,
what you're working on?
now I can't say what it was for, but it's a big movie, and I guarantee you everybody's seen the first one. This is the second one,
Oh,
so
okay.
that's all I can say. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you
So fingers crossed.
sign NDAs or?
Yeah, yeah. That's why I haven't updated my site in forever because most of the stuff I work on is NDA.
Okay.
Whether it's superhero stuff or stuff for toys or whatever, I can't really talk about it.
Right.
You know,
But if it
most of it.
already is released, you
Yeah, if
can
it's already
say.
released, I can talk about it. Hmm.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what was the point where you got a project that you were like, oh my gosh, this is why I do this? What point was
Yeah.
that? What project was that?
Yeah. So that was probably the Coke commercial. Like that was big,
Yeah, that was huge.
because yeah, not only, and that, and when I got a call from Kanye to do something for his Jesus Walks video back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was at like a McDonald's and going through the drive-through with my family, and I got a call, and it was somebody saying that it was Kanye's manager. I was like, yeah. He goes, Kanye's on the phone. He wants to know if he can talk to you. I'm like, yeah, put him on. And he gets on the
You were
phone. I'm
like,
like, oh,
whatever.
like, yeah, exactly. I was like, oh man. So he had seen one of my paintings and wanted me to do a piece that they were going to show in the video. Turns out it was in like the last few seconds of the video, but it is in there.
Yeah.
And we kind of got a relationship where we started talking. But yeah, when I did that, and then the Coke thing obviously was the thing that kind of made me believe that I could go out on my own and do my own
Right.
thing.
So people find you now, or do you also still have like this bucket list of people and companies that you want to work with that you chase?
Yeah, yeah. Well, Sideshow was like the last big whale, like the big white whale I was going after. I've been trying to get at them for probably 7, 8 years, but it's funny because everything happens in time. So what does it say? God's never late.
Right.
So it was one of those things where I don't think I was ready then, and they kind of reached out to me, surprisingly enough, when they felt like they needed me for a project. So
Yeah.
I get a lot of that. I still look for new people all the time because you never know when things are going to get slow as a freelancer.
Yeah.
But I have a stable of guys that I work with that kind of hit me up and keep me busy.
And that's cool. If you had to choose between doing something hip hop related or doing something comic related, what would you choose? If you had two big projects from both sides
Yeah.
and they're all at the same
Yeah.
time, you can only put your time into one project. Which one would you take?
I'm big into comics now. Like I'm really like I'm comfortable enough and old enough that I'm really feeling my geek side right now. You know, it's interesting because when I was in college, I was always a big hip hop fan, and I used to listen to music all the time. And I started doing that for like magazines and T-shirts and whatnot. And I kind of went that road until I was able to do illustration for magazines, like advertisements.
Right.
And then I was doing that for a while and was really into that. And then I was like, you know what? I want to go back to what kind of started this whole thing off when I was little and getting comic books when I get good grades. And now I'm back on that again, and I love it. So
this in this time where you're, well, again, it's not that much different from you other than maybe having more time. You already said that it didn't really cut into your creativity. Is this also a time where you would pick up things that you never had the time to do and feel like, hey, maybe I should pick this up? Because one of the things that I was wondering is, would you ever consider making your own comic?
See, not so much my comic, but I did reach out to a friend of mine who is a comic book artist.
Right.
And we're kind of collaborating on a set of characters that are non-licensed, their own IP. But he could kind of work up the comic side of it. I could work on the sculptures of it. And we can kind of mash those together and see if we can, sell those on our own.
Right.
So
I have to cut into this conversation. I see my friend Dennis come in here. Dennis is recovering from COVID-19. I'm happy to see you in here. I'm happy you're doing better. We're keeping you in our prayers, you and your family, that you may be back to your old self soon again. Yes, so back to the comics. I'm definitely looking forward to that, because at one point, if you're putting that out yourself, releasing that yourself, then I would be able to get it too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And so, okay, so you've already been doing that with your friend. What are the things that you are now considering doing or doing that you never really had the time for?
Well, see, that thing is actually, that's new. Because most of what I've been doing is client related, and I've found that it's nice, but I'm always chasing, right? I'm always chasing to get paid, and every time I want to make money, I have to do new artwork. So it doesn't really make sense. I have a friend named Les that I've been friends with since college, and we went to school with Aaron Magruder.
Oh, nice.
And so so like he's always been telling me, he's like, Mike, you gotta put out something one time that you can keep getting paid for over and over and over again. Yeah. And so this is kind of the thing that I was like, I got to do this, and now is a perfect time. So as busy as he is, he was really into the idea. I love having all these creative friends because I can just tap them on the shoulder, and they're always really into doing something.
Or even brainstorming about ideas and just inspiring each other in what more you can do and what ways you can put out your art. That's really what it is. You and me were supposed to do a book at one point. I mean, I guess
we were.
We could still pick it up at some point.
Yes, we can.
Honestly, that is one of the things that I'm still kind of sad about, that we didn't push through with that. I mean, sure, lives happen and, things happen. But that's something that might still be on my bucket list. I just can't do it without an illustrator.
No, I like it, and I definitely am into the idea of coming back to that. I just did something for Smithsonian a couple years ago. This project. Yeah. So there's a giant book that's coming out. Chuck D has been promoting it on Kickstarter, and it's just like a really big hip hop compendium. I did the artwork that's featured on the cover, and then a couple pieces on the inside. So I had to do a new piece. I haven't done an illustration of an artist in a long time, so I did a Nicki Minaj.
Nice.
When I did that, that and the Prince Paul I did for you.
Yeah, Prince Paul. That was awesome.
I'm into doing it again.
Yeah. Well, we'll revisit that. For the people that are just tuning in, the De La Soul painting that's always behind me when I'm doing these talks was done by Mike. And I actually seen the process of that. I still have the sketches that you sent me from that. That was pretty awesome. I was very excited about that one.
That was for that Def Jam book, actually.
Huh?
That was for the Def Jam, Def Jam 20 book,
What year was that? I'm so bad with years.
I don't know.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Aside from the, the stuff that you're now finding the time to do, how do you keep yourself healthy in these times other than the hand washing stuff? Do you take care of your immune system better? Do you look at what foods you're taking in, your nutrition to stay on point in case you come in touch with the virus? Are those things
I don't leave.
You don't leave.
I don't go anywhere. I never leave. I have a cat and I got a giant bag of cat food. And I went out and bought a grip of food and toilet paper before all this went down. and I stay in the house. I leave like once in a while. So it's funny that you say that, because one thing that's like a negative side effect of this is that, you're in the house, you're like snacking whenever.
Yeah.
Like I gotta do something. It's getting warm outside. Yeah. So I bought a bike yesterday that I need to pick up. And I'm going to start riding around now to try to get back into shape.
Well, one of the good things about being a digital sculptor now is that you don't need pen and paper anymore. You don't have to stock up on paper to illustrate.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, is that something that you still do? Because I'm still a fan of the old school arts.
Yeah, so I do from time to time, but most of the time I have like this giant tablet here. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Yeah.
But that's what I draw on with my stylus, and I do have sketchbooks that I need to get back into, but I haven't really done.
Those are going to be worth like so much money when you're like a legend and you're passed away, and then people find all the sketches.
Yeah, how about that?
You got to sign them.
What's it?
I think my logo, you even made that one already digitally. I don't think you already used the pad at that time.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time ago.
It's just so fast for me just to sketch it out on the screen now,
How long
and I don't have to worry.
How long does it take you to finish a project? Let's say you do a packaging. How long does it usually take you from scratch to the ending until you're really happy with it?
It depends. So like there's this, let me see if I can show this screen here. Is there a way to flip? Yeah. So, so I did this piece right here, this Spider Gwen, for the company that makes the tablets that I use.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, and thanks. And so that was something that I actually did sketch out, and then I went in and did versions of how I was going to color it and all that good stuff. That probably, and usually when I work on something, it takes me anywhere between a week and 2 weeks to paint it. So I'm getting faster as I go. I've done a lot of these things over the years. Yeah, it's not too bad.
Okay, 2 weeks, but how many hours a day is that? What, like?
For this one, I had to record as I was doing it. They wanted like a tutorial to go with it.
Okay.
So that kind of slowed me down. I mean, normally, once I get the drawing figured out, I can usually paint one of these things pretty quickly now. So, I don't know, maybe like 30 hours, 40 hours, something like that.
That's not that bad.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes faster. It depends. I mean, sometimes I get stuff from clients, like this thing I was telling you about, the movie.
Yeah.
They had 3 days for me to do it. I got a call yesterday for a project. And that's the thing, too. When you're an illustrator, when you're freelance, you don't want to tell people no.
Right.
So I got a call from a client yesterday that wants something like they want this project with 40 characters. And I was like, okay. And they go, yeah, but we need it in 2 weeks.
Oh, shit.
I was like, yeah. So I was like,
and they
okay,
understand
yeah.
That's not realistic, or do they just
They
try?
do. They were like, yeah, they were like, let's figure out how many we can get done.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's like for a pitch or whatever. But so I was like, okay, all right, let's figure it out.
Right. Do you get complete creative freedom in these projects, or do they really go into detail like, well, we want this different and we want that different?
It depends. It depends. Sometimes they just let me run wild. I did a snowboard. Remember the snowboard I did back in the day? Yeah. So this piece right here, they were just like, do whatever you want to do. So I was, Yeah, you know, I'm a big fan of blaxploitation films, so you can see like where I'm drawing
Yeah.
reference from and everything. And I just wanted it to be colorful. Other jobs like this one that I did for W. Kamau Bell's show back in the day,
Right.
that was something where they had a very specific idea kind of in mind, and so that's you know, it switches up.
Well, that
It's
must be
just,
the best project for you when you get total freedom of doing something.
yeah.
Has there been a project where you felt very excited about what you did, and then they started picking everything apart, and you had to basically make something that wasn't yours? Or
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that happened.
It doesn't happen a lot. I did something for Sony for a movie that's, man, they took me through a lot of changes. I mean, literally, there was a lot of revisions on that job, and it ended up, I got paid for it, but it was several months of work, and they decided to go a different direction at the last minute. So
Oh,
it
yeah.
was for the, yeah,
So do you
they
not put
didn't even
that
use the old.
in your proposals, like, hey, you get a minimum of, I don't know, 4 revisions, and if it's extra time, it's going to cost you per hour or whatever?
Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty good about that. And in fact, that actually was how it worked out. I didn't have to say it. You know, the company I was working with felt bad about what was going on, so it wasn't that hard. Sometimes sometimes it goes that way. More often than not, because people know what to expect from me.
Right.
They're just like make it fresh,
That's good.
and so I give them what they want.
So what is a movie that you would really still want to be part of that you haven't worked on yet?
Anything Marvel related would be dope. I actually won a Clio last year for Deadpool 2. I did a piece that they put on a billboard, and I used my daughter's fingernails as reference. It was a cool piece
That's
because
funny.
yeah, it was fingernails. You know the fingernail art. So I painted
Yeah,
like the little unicorns and Deadpool and all that stuff on the fingernails, and
that's
it's a
funny.
giant billboard. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, anything. I mean, anything cool. I love doing movie posters. I've probably done artwork for, I don't know, like 25, 30 of them so far. But this is the thing. I think they've used maybe like four or five.
Oh,
So
do you still have all
yeah,
of them though?
yeah,
Do you,
yeah.
well, are you gonna like hang them in your on your walls at some point? Because that's like a whole art gallery from Mike itself.
Yeah, it is. I need to update my site. And my daughter was kind of hitting me up today for something, and I've been trying to get her. She just started college, so I'm trying to get her to work on my site for me and update all my images
Child
because I don't have
labor.
time for it. Yeah, I know, right, 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 right. No, I'd pay her. I'd pay her. But yeah, I have all this stuff that I don't have on there, and it's kind of a shame, you know. So
So would you
yeah,
consider doing like an exhibition with all your artwork? Because
I
honestly,
would.
yeah, if
Yeah.
I had more of your art, because I still have like empty spots on my walls, this could be like a mini Mike Thompson gallery.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd be into it. I have to. The only thing about that stuff is because I did it for these films. Sometimes they get kind of weird about that, and even if the film has been out for a long time,
Really?
they, yeah, they don't want me to show it. So I know I
Even if
did a
they
thing
haven't
for,
used it?
yeah, I did something for the X-Men Apocalypse movie, like this really big poster, or yeah, it was a big poster, and I wanted to show it, but they're kind of like, not yet.
Can
So,
you
and that
like
movie's been out forever.
if it's an official expo from you, would you be able to work that out with them if it's like a curated exhibition?
Probably, probably. Yeah, I reached out to Marvel about some stuff, and they said that it was cool. I just got to be careful because I know that when I originally was working on Black Panther for Civil War,
Yeah.
I just had like a little crop of his hand. It was like just a little crop of his hand that I showed, and it was after they already showed the costume and
And they
stuff.
were like going nuts.
I got in trouble for that. Yeah.
Really?
I got a stack of like this thick of like NDA stuff to sign. So,
Yeah.
because I'd done something for Guardians of the Galaxy a couple of years before
Yeah, I
that,
remember that.
and yeah, the NDA never stops. It's like forever. So
That's crazy. So would it be, if you get a project, would you be able to negotiate that up front? Like, hey, you know what? If I have stuff that you won't be using, can I at some point later use it for my own name, for my own brand?
it's good. Yeah, I can ask that. I can ask that. The thing is, with these larger companies, it's one of those things where there's not as much wiggle room. You know,
Right.
like so sometimes
Well, I understand, but
there's
if it's already out, like, and it's
yeah.
for you, it's also your work. So,
Right.
I mean, I understand the copyrights and stuff, but there should be a way where you can at least own your own work aside from,
Yeah, I don't,
yeah.
that's the only thing. I don't own any of that stuff.
Well, you
Yeah.
should, maybe you should find out, because I think that you have enough. The fact that you talk about 25, 30 movie posters, I would actually see that as an exhibition at whatever Comic-Con even, or, you know, or you on your own as an
Mhm.
artist.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I would love to see that over here, or it could be a traveling exhibition even.
Yeah. I can
Okay,
ask them.
yeah. That'd
I
be
can ask
interesting.
them.
I know we're supposed to talk about, you know, how you're doing in this pandemic, but I've never really had the chance to interview you. I mean, we've talked, but this is all stuff that I don't know about, so I'm just asking.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. But you don't seem too fazed by what's going on in the world as far as your work and your creativity.
Not as far as work right now. It's very weird. I'm in a real precarious position as a freelancer, and now, you know, a lot of people are that, you know, are used to having a very, uh, you know, maybe not so much comfortable, but a very structured work environment. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, so things like health insurance and all that, you know, just getting health insurance for myself is crazy expensive, and I just got it again, but you know, now other people are dealing with, are their companies going to continue to cover them if they're
Right.
not working there? And you know, that happened to a friend of mine yesterday, and it sucks, you know. So,
Yeah. Well,
but
especially if
yeah,
you
yeah,
get sick. If you get sick now, then, well, then on the other hand,
right,
there are people that pay hundreds and thousands of dollars in health insurance. They might not even get help because the hospitals are all full with
right,
patients.
yeah,
So I mean, it's different obviously over here than in the States. But
yeah,
that's something that I was thinking about. Like, what if you've paid your health insurance in the States for all these years, you get
hmm,
sick, and they can't help you because they're understaffed? That would really suck. Um,
definitely, yeah,
so are there
yeah.
people in
It's a
your in your creative circle, illustration world, visual artist world, sculptor world, that did get more impact than you? Or are there people that you've talked to that are kind of frustrated with where they are now, or is everybody pretty much
yeah.
on your level?
No, no. Most of the people I know work in studios, so they are either in VFX for games or
Yeah.
films or whatever, and all those guys had to go home, you know, and now they're working remotely. Whereas before all of this hit, they weren't allowed to do that because everybody's working on stuff that's NDA, and they
Yeah.
don't normally trust you. I know I could have gotten more Marvel work if I was on the West Coast, but I would have had to be in a studio. They
Right.
didn't let that stuff outside. So yeah, no, these guys, they're all adjusting to it. I have friends that work on video games; they're adjusting to it. And like I said, you know, some of the people that work with these companies, once they finish a project, you know, they get to axe,
Right.
and they're used to that because they just go on to another company and
Yeah.
work on a different project. But now it's a whole different story, you know.
You
Like
don't know if
now,
there's a next project because
no,
everything is shut down. The whole
exactly,
entertainment industry is on lockdown and
exactly.
standstill. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's
Yeah,
crazy. Um,
definitely.
if there was one thing that you could do creatively, anything that you've always wanted to do, it can be completely out of the box. What would it be before you die? What's absolutely on top of your bucket list?
Wow, that's a hard question.
Really?
Yeah, because you know what? I really wanted to work on sculptures, and now I'm doing them.
So that's
Uh,
crossed off. Like, okay,
that's
next
close
goal.
enough. The only thing that was really, I know, right? The only thing that was on my bucket list that it didn't happen, and now I don't know if I would want to do it is, I always wanted to do something with ILM, like something with like the Lucasfilms or something
Oh,
like that.
wow. Yeah.
But I don't know, aside from, doing 2D assets, I don't know what I could do for that. I did have an opportunity to work on a poster for the, what was it, Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, really? What
Um,
happened?
yeah, I was working on like two other jobs and I couldn't do it, so I had to
That's a
pass on it.
luxury
I know
project.
it was great. My boy was like, so the guy that runs the company was like, Mike, you don't pass on Star Wars. He's like, it's Star Wars, dog. What are you
Right.
doing?
You could be part of the
I was like,
Star Wars empire. Like,
but see, I know how it actually works, though. I was like, okay, look, I'm going to spend all my time doing this painting. They're going to end up using one of the 1,000 other pieces that are submitted for the same thing, and then it's not going to get
oh, so
used.
it wasn't an assignment for you. It was like whoever gives us the best stuff will be picked.
Yeah, most of the posters I work on are
Not like that.
they're submissions. Yeah. So what'll
Okay.
happen is I work with a company on the West Coast called Grabless Inc., and they're one of the only like black ad agencies that are on the West Coast,
Okay.
or in LA rather, and so they'll hit me up and say, we want you to do this thing for whatever, and I'll paint it, and that'll be one piece, or maybe I'll do two of them that they submit to the studio along with a photo version and a graphic version, whatever,
Right.
whatever, whatever, and they'll pick it up. So they win a lot of these contracts, but
Okay.
it could be for whatever. It could be for whatever. I
So
think the
is
last
this are you signed to that agency, or is it also they just know you and they know when to hit you up?
Yeah, I've had a relationship with Kenny. He runs it. I've been working with him for shoot a long time, almost as long as I've known you.
Okay.
We've been working together, so he just hits me from time to time to do things. But yeah, if I wanted to work with other agencies, I could. It's just that we've had relationships.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
mean, the
understand.
only other thing that
That's
I did
good.
for them recently.
So
Okay.
what's that? I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say the last piece before the Deadpool thing that was used was for the movie Hidden Figures. You remember that
Oh
with
yeah, Hidden
Octavia Spencer?
Figures.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
that one, yeah, that got a Clio too. And dude didn't tell me. I'm like, yo, what happened? He goes, oh, yo, you got a Clio for this thing. Like, no, I didn't know that. How am I supposed to know that? Yeah. So, but yeah, that was the last film that got used. I haven't before that. It's been a minute.
Okay. So you have all these connections that you've built over these past years, obviously, years and years of hard work that you put in there. What would you advise young illustrators that are, geeking out over all the stuff that you've been doing, that you've, put your hard work into? How do they go about it getting known by studios like Marvel or, ILM?
Yeah, I would say just work on defining a style. That was a really hard thing when I was learning to be an artist early on, like right out of high school, is just finding a style that was unique. Because I think once you find something and commit to it, and then just kind of refine it and tweak it until you really get to where you want to be, then they'll recognize it and they'll come to you, which is,
Right.
it took a lot of years to get to that point. Like that was the hardest thing ever. I just actually went to South America and did like a speaking tour last year, where I was talking to kids that are they're in universities there, and
Right.
they would have those questions time and time again. They're like, how do I get into the business, and how do I work on my style?
Right.
So, am I timing out? It looks like I'm timing out. Hold on a second, let me
Well,
turn on the
your connection is a
Wi-Fi.
little bad now, but I can still hear
Oh,
you.
sorry. Hold on one sec.
Yeah. Well, let's hope this connection will sort itself out, because I was about to wrap it up.
You there?
Oh yeah, there. Yeah, I'm here.
Um,
Oh, this is better. Yeah.
yeah, sorry. Yeah, I had to turn on Wi-Fi as well.
So for me, the question is, how many years do you think it took you to get to that point where people starting to get to know you? Is it 5? Is it 10? Is it?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, it was probably about 8 years, but it's
Okay,
so
that's not
subjective.
bad.
Yeah, it's really
Well, it
subjective
is.
though. You know, like I think with me, I was hustling really hard. I think you got to want it um, really hard. I went out and was doing magazines for next to nothing, like just doing spot illustrations.
Really, just to be
In
seen. It's the same
yeah,
with music.
exactly.
You know,
Mhm.
you have to just put your work in and show your face and,
Right,
invest in yourself. Don't always ask for the highest price, and don't expect
right.
everyone to instantly think you're the greatest, because there's so many, other people that are talented out there.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
yes.
honestly, I think it's, I haven't, seen your journey from the start, but I think it's amazing to have seen your journey this far in all these years that I've known you. Especially because we've been through the struggles together. I have my struggles, you had your struggles, and,
Yeah, yeah,
then to see that we're in a place where we kind of know who we are, and we're kind of figuring it out.
yeah.
That's really awesome. And I'm definitely still honored that I have this piece here, because it's one of the most talked about pieces in my house when people come and visit me. So
Thank you.
yeah,
Pleasure.
it's definitely one of the nicest things I own, probably. I don't
Oh
own a lot.
no. Oh no. We got to change that. We can't have my
I
painting
know,
being the best
right?
thing in your
Well, no,
house.
honestly, I'm not a materialistic person, but if my
Yeah.
house would be on fire and I couldn't save the art, that would really kill me. Like, I would save, because, my MacBook and whatnot, I can, insurance covers that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, exactly.
those pieces, like even the Marvel piece that's
Hmm.
made by my friend who's actually a DJ, DJ Suicide. He also made the Boba Fett for me. I
Nice.
have another one from him. It's like a little mini museum of his art. And so
Hmm.
I would just be sad because he put so many hours in it. It's actually, what is it? Oil
Hmm.
painting. So I would just be devastated that his hard work and sweat and stuff put in there would be lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it may not be
It's,
worth
it's,
much, but it's my friend stuff. I don't have art from unknown people. I only have stuff hanging here from people that I know.
right.
Um, that's why I was like, hey, if you can throw me another piece, I'll hang it up.
I'll see if I can get you an ODB.
Yeah. Oh, please. Oh my gosh, that'd be so awesome. I love
Yeah.
the hip hop stuff. I love all of it. I don't. It would be nice to have a comic stuff from you, like a comic piece instead of the hip. But I'll take whatever you have. I'm not
Okay.
I'm not greedy. Thank you so much for this talk. I'm not sure how inspiring this was for people in my What Now series, but it was definitely great to hear, your journey a little bit and what you're working on and how this works, because I never really knew how that industry particularly works.
Hmm.
And I will definitely revisit the idea of our book, maybe a little tweaked, but yeah, I still have some ideas for that.
I
If
like
you're
that. I
down,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. Mike, thank you. Stay safe, stay healthy.
You too.
We'll be
Thank
in
you.
touch. And yeah, if people want to know where they can find your art, it's Mike T Artworks on Instagram, and you can find the rest of his information on there as well.
Yeah, definitely.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks, Mike.
Now, before you
Oh
leave,
yeah.
you got to tell me how to get off of this thing
Oh no, I'm
because,
I'm gonna I'm gonna end it, and then you'll be
okay,
fine.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I hate to sound like the old man in the room, but Instagram
So I'm
still,
gonna leave
my
you
daughter,
hanging into IG Live space and sort it out.
right, right. All
No, you'll
right,
be
cool.
fine once I close this.
Okay.
All
Thank you.
right.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you
Thank
later.
you for having me, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being my
Okay.
guest. It was great. We're going to do a follow-up later on at some point.
Cool.
See
Sounds
what you're
good.
working
All right.
on. All right.
Thanks, Peg.
See you
All right.
later.
See you.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.